How's it, guys, and welcome to For a Love of Rescue. I'm Jax Martheze, and I'm so excited with what we're going to talk about today. I'm here with Jordy, who we absolutely love and adore.
Thank you. Very nice to be here today.
So George is an AWA. He works at Woodrock. He's been with us for ages, and he's absolutely amazing. He's just got this natural way with the animals, and his task, in actual fact, or his portfolio, may I call it? Can I call it a portfolio? Are the farm animals at Woodrock Animal Rescue. Now, we always talk about Woodrock Animal Rescue. We talk about we rescue, rehabilitate, rehome. We rescued all these farm animals. Am I right?
Yes. Everyone has been rescued. Some had not so great circumstances. Some had great circumstances. But we don't judge by that. We just a home for everybody, basically.
So I think that's where Woodrock Animal Rescue is actually a sanctuary.
Yes, 100%.
So of course we are a rescue centre, as I say all the time, and rehabilitation. But of course we are a sanctuary as well, because we've got all these beautiful animals that belong to Woodrock Animal Rescue. George, now tell me something. How many farm animals do you look after?
So today we have 112 farm animals on the property. That is everything from cattle to donkeys to a pony. We have ducks, geese, chickens, rabbits, everything like that.
Our pigs. You must have our gorgeous pigs.
Yes, and our big, gorgeous pigs as well.
Tell me, do you have a favourite, or any one of these farm animals in particular, like your baby?
Well, I am loving, we got some baby goats in. I am loving them a lot. They're very cute, very naughty. And also my cows. I do love my cows a lot.
So, well, the cows, I suppose you absolutely adore them because you got them from calves.
From calves, yes.
They were these tiny little girls.
Yeah,
and
we had to bottle feed, get them all big and strong, and now they're almost fully grown heifers running around, but very beautiful, loving, sweet natures, and I think that's what I love about them the most.
And Jordy, how are they with the other animals, and how are they with people and that?
They're very sweet. So they obviously very food driven. So they love their carrots as snacks. They're very gentle in a nature. So they're fine with the goats, fine with the donkeys, fine with the pigs. All the other animals, they have no issue. It's normally if an animal reacts badly to them, then they stress out and would have a situation.
Yeah, they're just absolutely adorable. And I remember when we got them and how tiny they were. They were absolutely adorable. Not that they're not adorable now. I love those lips.
Yes.
I mean, I always like I always go for all the animals' lips. I always look at the nose and the lips, and they really have these juicy, beautiful lips. They're very kissable. That much I can tell you. And George, tell me something else. And do they have best friends there with anyone? Are there any? Is there like a best friend system going?
In a sense, yes. So June is very attached to our one cow. So we have a little miniature goat. She is best friends with the one cow, and then the other cow is friends with our steer. They hang around together the most.
It's so funny. So you see all these little relationships and everything else.
Yes.
It reminds me kind of Charlotte's Web. You know, where the what was it? It was the spider was best friends with the pig.
Yes.
And tell me our pigs, you know, because the geese are around there and the ducks are around there.
Yes.
Tell me about them. Tell me, I mean, they're very affectionate and very human centric.
Yes, no, definitely. So yeah, our pigs are a few were not tame in any sense, so we are working on getting them better. However, we do have a couple pigs that were pets. So they're very, very sensitive. They love attention. You could sit there with them the whole day. They'll just rub up against you, cuddle with you. They're very, very affectionate in that sense. Very food motivated as well.
Well, who wouldn't be?
Who wouldn't be? No, exactly. When you got food like carrots and everything, it is a great life. Yes, then we have 16 geese.
I should talk about the pigs
still.
quickly,
Okay.
sorry. Because I walked past them the other day, and Charlotte was in a mud bath, and she was really having an absolute ball, and she actually looked like she was smiling. But yet, as happy as she was in her mud bath, when I called and I said, "Hello, baby girl," she came waddling out and
Yes.
running and turned over on her back for some
back
tummy
foot, yes,
tickles.
tummy tickles.
They say that pigs are exceptionally clever. Do you see that? I mean,
Yes.
do they know the commands, or like, how do you see the interaction with you? How do you see that they're so clever?
Well, the first thing is we have to lock our gates. They can open their gates. They have learned to do that on their own.
So they use their snout.
They use their snout, they bite the handle, pull it open, and then they go for their own little walk. Obviously, yes, with calls like that, training them to come to you, things like that, they're very intelligent, and the fact of how quickly they pick up on new things. So, for example, if we put a new house or a new pen or something there for them, how quickly they come to realize what that is and start using it or playing with it is incredible.
And so they actually play.
Yes, they do play.
Oh, really?
If you roll something there like a ball or something, they'll push it along and chase it along and things like that. And then obviously try to use different sensations. So like if there's a plastic bag that's crinkly, something like that, it's a different input. So a different noise, a different texture, a different feeling like that. That's to help with their keeping their mind active, basically.
So that's a really important thing, and I think that people out there don't realize, oh, let's get a pig. You know, I saw the movie Babe, and I want this tiny little pig,
Yes.
and now Babe is not such a tiny little pig. But besides the fact that they grow and they become real animals, they have so many needs, and as you've just said, stimulation. So as far as all the animals that you look after on the farm, the pigs you say need stimulation. What other animals need stimulation? Does every one of those animals need stimulation in a different way?
Yes, all animals do need their own stimulation in some sense. For example, like our goats love to climb, they love to jump. One of their favorite games is King of the Castle. So you'll see one goat jumping onto the top of the highest point, and then everyone else trying to jump on and him trying to push everyone off. And that's a game in their own sense, that's great for their stimulation. Obviously, like the cattle, they love space. They need their roaming, they need their space. And obviously using their tasting things, everything they eat, our mulberry leaves, they love that. So you'll see they have almost a bit of a routine, a schedule. So in the morning they go out to a specific place and then they start grazing their way along.
Yes.
But at certain points in the day, you'll always find them in a certain place.
So they're also using all their senses as they're walking
As
around,
they
their
walk,
sense of
yes.
smell, their sense of touch
Touch
and hearing and all of that
all of
kind of
that,
thing.
yes.
And then tell me something, I mean, I know that we've got donkeys and we've got one horse.
One pony. That's
One
correct.
pony, sorry guys, I got it wrong.
Not a small little pony yet.
Her name is Breeze and she's absolutely gorgeous. But I look at her and she's always with the donkeys and I kind of think to myself, does she think she's a donkey?
No, she doesn't. She does see herself as the boss of the donkeys, but she does keep herself slightly separate in a sense. So she does work within the herd. Obviously, being a herd, they have their own hierarchy and everything. And she is the head mare, so she's the discipliner of the herd. But she doesn't behave in a sense as a donkey. She does know she is a horse.
And tell me, you said, they've all got their hierarchy and she's definitely the queen of their castle.
Yes.
Do they all respect her? Do they all understand that? Do they feel that she is their leader?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
so
quite fascinating.
no, it is very fascinating. So you'll see often if you come and visit us, when we put our food out, she will be the first one there to go and eat. And if there is a bit of a scuffle or people are pushing themselves around for food, she puts herself in between them, chases them away, and they have to ask her for forgiveness before coming into the herd.
That's unbelievable. I mean,
Yes.
I drive in and I drive out and I go for a walk and I see them, but I actually don't know the intricacies of
Yes.
how they work together as a pack. That's
No,
unbelievable.
it is very subtle because the signs are mainly with their ears, their eyes, and their mouth. So you'll see when they open their mouth, almost like they're yawning, that is a submission in a sense. So that is asking for forgiveness or asking to be accepted back in that sense. So they are very subtle little small tells, but every animal does have their own hierarchy and they have their own ways of obviously communicating.
That's unbelievable. So communication is quite different with all of them as well.
Yes.
Tell me something, and Madame Mussy, I mean, everybody out there knows about Miss Madame Mussy, the queen of the castle, of our castle, who I think does think that she's human.
She is, yes.
She's obviously separated because she isn't, she's got her laminitis, is it called?
Also, she suffers from EMS, which is equine metabolic syndrome. So in very layman's terms, it's basically diabetes for a horse. So that's from eating too much sweet things, or if you have lots of fresh grass, and they just constantly grazing on high sugar, they can develop an EMS. As you said, laminitis, so that was a side effect due to the amount of sugar she eats. It causes swelling in their hooves, and that is the laminitis. So swelling in the lamini, which then obviously leads to hoof pain and lameness.
Must be very, very painful because I mean there's so much weight on those hooves, so it must
Yes,
be
no,
quite
and then with the hooves, the inside of the hooves actually pushing out, it is extremely.
so there's lots of swelling there.
If not managed correctly, yes.
And so she obviously is on a very strict diet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, she is. So we just obviously the diet is limiting all sugar as much as possible. possible. She does still get our normal erogrostis and grasses and things like that. However, we do, as a precaution, just soak the hay, drench all the sugar out, dry it out, and then give it to her.
And she's been satisfied with the changes in her lifestyle. I mean, now
Yes.
she has been isolated, so she's got her own. I call it her boudoir. So she really acts like it's her own little boudoir. She acts like, you know, she can go and, you know, to her bedroom and chill out, and it's her own area where she does whatever she wants to do.
Yes, no, definitely. And we do let her out with the rest of the herd, obviously under observation. And you'll see she'll go out for an hour or two, and then, as you say, she comes back to her area, her room.
Yeah.
That's her safe space, and she loves it a lot. So, yeah, I would say she is more like a human than the rest of our
And
dogs.
tell me, she goes out with her herd, but does she actually hang with them?
She follows them around, but she doesn't get into the pack with them.
Yes.
She is, although she was from the pack, she was always a bit segregated. She doesn't believe herself to be a donkey, so she just prefers to be with the people.
Yeah, so she's always kind of isolated herself from everyone else. Guys, sorry about all our dogs. We are a rescue centre. We do have lots of activity that goes on here all the time. And everybody here gets a chance to walk. Geordie, tell me, like from a health perspective of all the animals, right down to the ducks and the geese and the chickens, everybody here is vaccinated appropriately, dewormed appropriately. Tell me about that.
Yes, so obviously being different species, they have their different requirements, but just a general, like birds, they do get fleas and mites and things like that. We'll have to just keep on top of. But yes, everybody is up to a regular deworming, tick and flea treatment to various species, as well as vaccinations are on board.
And then, I know that you do body checks, because obviously, just like all the dogs and cats at the rescue centre, we want to make sure that we're picking up things. You know, what do they say? Prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
So, so you do body checks for them. And I mean, do you want to also just tell everyone out there about when you do dentals? You know, with the donkeys, it's the most fascinating thing to actually see. And I think we need to do, next time we do it, we actually need to do a video on it, so you guys can actually see how you line them up. What is the process with that, and how often do you do dentals on them?
So dentals, ideally, you would at least want to look at least once a year, just to ensure, obviously, like your teeth and everybody else's teeth, to eat comfortably and to be healthy, you have to have good oral hygiene. So that is quite an important thing, especially with donkeys as the older they get. So I think our oldest, she is now 24 this year.
Wow.
And fortunately she has great teeth. So she was looking a bit thin a couple of years ago, so we fixed her teeth because she did have a bit of an infection and her teeth were quite sharp, so we did have to shave them down. And yeah, from there she's a healthy old donkey, but thanks to our good, obviously, catching on her dental.
So do you check their teeth? Sorry, I'm interrupting. Do you actually like
yes.
lift their
So
do you lift their lips and check their teeth?
You don't really need to necessarily look in there. You can kind of feel. So what you're going to feel around the sides is if there's no sharp spurs or anything like that. But obviously, if it is going to hurt your finger, it will hurt the insides of their gums. It also, you can just lift the ball, lower the bottom of the lip there, just look at the condition of the front teeth, and just make sure everything does look good. Obviously, you don't need to brush them regularly or anything like that, just to make sure that there's no abscess, no infection or anything like that.
And do they act funny? You know, if they do have a teeth issue or
Yes.
well, they do act differently.
Yeah,
and tell me something, when the dentist comes, I mean, do you want to just explain, like, what do we do? We put them in a paddock and...
Yes, so basically...
And are they, sorry, I'm just asking
No.
that. When the dentist comes and all of that, do they sedate them, or what happens with that?
So yes, we do sedate some of our donkeys when we do our dentals. The reason being is some will work, some aren't so tame, so they're not so willing to work with us. So some do require a slight sedation, but otherwise the more manageable donkeys don't need a sedation. It's not painful, it's just like a bit of a grinding discomfort. It's an uncomfortable feeling rather than being sore, but obviously if you do it regularly they get used to it, and it's also not as uncomfortable. Obviously less being need to be shaved down.
I suppose it's like when we go to the dentist and we have a teeth clean and they...
Yes, and then
kind of,
basically a little bit of a rough rubbing around,
Yes, yes.
And obviously the more you do it,
Yes.
the better it feels, but it's not sore in any sense
Absolutely.
like that.
Then tell me something. So now we've spoken about donkeys. Very interested in their teeth, guys. I said very interested in their teeth. I told you I like, the mouth of animals. I always say it's absolutely adorable. We've spoken about the pigs. The pigs, obviously, you obviously do body checks on them as well, and also make sure that they are
Yes,
healthy and
are
everything
healthy
else.
and everything else.
And then obviously we've got our bunnies. There was a terrible bunny disease actually that was out a couple of months ago, and it was actually created by humans. I was told that the virus that the bunnies get was actually created by humans, and it just is absolutely catastrophic the way that it just ravaged out so many bunnies. It was absolutely terrible, and there is a vaccination for it.
There is a vaccination. Unfortunately, there's not really a treatment. So as Jack said, prevention is a lot better than treatment. It is quite a horrible virus. Being a hemorrhagic virus, it does cause internal bleeding, and ultimately, if not picked up, the bunnies do bleed to death. So we do very much recommend please vaccinating your bunnies. It just prevents a lot of pain later on in the future.
So all our bunnies at Woodrock, I just want to let people know they're not these tame bunnies. So the animals that came here from babies, it's easy for us to encourage them to be tame, although animals are animals. The reality is that if you're feeding like your goats, and I want to talk more about Geordie's goats, because I called him the one day and I said, Geordie, where are you? He says, I'm with my goats. So I want to talk more about them. But what I do want to tell people out there is that we're not a petting zoo by far. We are a rescue centre, and as Jordy said at the beginning, is that animals come to us through different means, and some have had abusive starts and some were bought as pets, but ultimately at the end of the day we treat them like animals. We don't treat them like people, because we don't want to encourage a petting zoo environment. Yes, because you work so well with them and you interact with them so much, of course they are used to human touch and interaction, and they're not scared of hearing humans coming. But the reason I'm telling you this is because when we spoke about our bunnies, is that our bunnies are all feral bunnies, and they're not tame bunnies. And just for my audience out there, I plead with you that if it is Easter or whatever, don't buy a bunny for your kids or your grandkids for Easter. They're not presents. They're not good presents. They are animals at the end of the day, and they deserve a life, and they deserve to have freedom and everything else. And if you do have a bunny or you do get a bunny, I beg and plead you to please get it sterilized, because you land up with 1 million bunnies, and that's how we actually landed up with our bunny park, is that we go where these bunnies were bought as gifts, and now there are just hundreds of bunnies, and we go and we have to trap them, and it's horrible for them, it's scary for them. I mean, they don't know about it. We bring them through to us, we sterilize, we vaccinate them, and then they go into our bunny park. And yet again, I just want to reiterate, those aren't bunnies that have been petted since tiny babies. These are wild bunnies. We're just trying to keep them safe, in a really safe sanctuary environment for them, and I think it's important. I mean, how do you feel about it?
No, very much important. Like majority of our bunnies were trapped by Rory. There was on the golf course. So that's obviously where someone had a pet bunny, didn't sterilize, and it got out. Therefore, it made its own little whole colony of bunnies. And then, yes, unfortunately, it's not easy to work with them because they're not tame. It is a domesticated bunny that should be tame, but unfortunately, it's not tame. So now we have to try then, in a way, pick up the pieces, try and get them vaccinated to ensure their health, try and trap them, get them sterilized, and try and integrate them into our colony, and just make sure that they have everything they need.
Absolutely, and we actually did a whole cleanup in the Woodmead area as well. They had the same, a huge problem, and it creates many problems in residential areas to have these bunnies running around. And I must say, to Woodrock Animal Rescue, there's a huge cost involved in it, because obviously we've got to send our teams to go and trap them, and we've got to check those traps all through the day, because you can't leave them in there for ages. It's too cruel. Then we've got to bring them here, and medically they've got to be vaccinated. That vaccination is really expensive. It's a very expensive vaccination, and there's so much, and it's really a high cost for us. And even these animals, vaccinating and deworming all our farm animals, it comes at a cost. We don't choose to just have them here, as I say, to try and be a petting zoo. we
They're
have
not
them
an
here.
attraction,
Yeah?
They're here because they needed help and needed rescuing, and then that's what we did.
Absolutely. So now, finally, guys, we do have goats as well. We've got Billy Goat, and then we've got a mom with a baby, and she's feeding her baby, right?
She is currently feeding her baby, yes. And then we have two other little babies, both little boys. They were found in the veld, no herd around, no mom around, so we assume mommy was stolen or they possibly could have wandered off. They unfortunately don't have their mom, so we are bottle feeding at this current
What
point.
are their names?
It's Basil and Boris.
Oh, Basil and Boris, the two
Yes,
B brothers.
The 2B brothers, yes.
And it's quite amazing because they arrived and they must have been about 2 weeks old when they got here, maybe 2-3 weeks old, right?
About 2 weeks we estimate. Yeah.
And when they got here, you can go into our other socials, our Facebook page and our Instagram, and you can actually go and see photos of them. And maybe at the end of this, let's see if we can post a couple of pics of them as well. They were so tiny. They were wearing little doggy jerseys. They were, what do you think, the size of Jack Russell? I mean, how big were they when they got here?
Well, one weighed, I think it was 5.4 kilograms, the other one weighed 4.8. We weighed them again today. They've both picked up over 2 kilograms.
Oh, wow.
And that's been just over a week. So
your babies are gaining weight.
Yeah.
And they've got these gorgeous long ears, these ears that just flap as they walk. They don't even need to run, and their ears flap. Tell me something. Do you know what kind of goat they are?
I don't specifically. I do think they're a little bit of a mix, but mainly a bit of a Borsborg, normal field goat.
So how big do you think they're going to get?
They will get normal average goat size, so just below, between your thigh, mid-thigh-ish.
Your thigh and my thigh are very
very
different,
different.
guys. Me
Your
being
hip,
super
my
short,
thigh.
your hip. So we'll have to stand out to see the size of that.
Yes.
But they just give you so much joy.
They do, very sweet. Always wanting to play, fumbling around. They're almost clumsy in a way.
Yeah.
Jumping sideways. They're just adorable.
And do they sleep a lot?
Yes, so they'll have they call it zoomies for an hour or so.
Zoomies like dogs?
Like dogs, yeah.
Really?
They
Oh,
jump
okay.
around, jumping on the rocks, things like that. And then they'll go and find a tree or shade to lie in, have a nap there for a bit, just walk around, graze. But obviously most of their time, well, not the babies currently, but most of goat's time is spent grazing. Obviously more climbing trees, getting leaves and things like that, more than grass grazing, but or herbivores most of the
So
time.
when you first got them, and I mean you've been bottle feeding them, you're still bottle feeding them, if I'm correct. And they suck beautifully. They literally grab onto them. And they're so excited, and they look like they're savoring every morsel of milk that comes out of their teeth. It's too beautiful to watch. But please, yet again, audience out there, don't think that it's so adorable. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I'd love to bottle feed anything. It's so hard to bottle feed. It's hard, and originally, how many times a day were they being bottle fed? Every couple of hours, or what was it?
Every 3 hours when we first started, and we've managed to now move it to 3 times a day. So we've at least gotten ourselves some time, but yes, it was a lot of work because every 3 hours throughout the day, throughout the night. It takes its toll. It is tiring.
Yeah, it's dedication, and yet again, look at our videos, and we're so proud, and so honoured to have Jordy as part of our team. He is so passionate about our animals, and we absolutely love and adore him because he loves every baby. He absolutely loves. He sees them all as his babies, and I mean he's taking them home and bottle feeding them through the night, and the dedication is real. But remember that all animals grow up. So yes, they look cute as babies. Do not go out and take babies away from their mothers. It's not fair. Let them grow up the way they're meant to, and let our animals be who they are. Don't teach them to become domestic animals. Let them be the animals. You know, God created them, to be animals and do certain things, whatever they do. So let them be that person. Do you have anything before we go to say to our audience, anything about Woodrock Animal Rescue, anything about your animals, anything, any word of advice, anything?
Well, yeah, if you have some free time, please come around, take a visit, spend some time with our animals, see what we're about, see how you can help out, and just remember to always be kind.
I love it. Kindness, eh? They always say if you can be anything in life, be kind, and it's so true. Costs nothing to be kind. We have mentioned that all of this comes at such a cost. I mean, all their food, all the vaccinations, the medical care, all of that, everything that they need costs money. And if you guys want to contribute, or maybe you'd like to sponsor one of Jordy's little goats, or one of the the pony, or anyone else, or one of the pigs, if you want to sponsor one of those animals, guys, just reach out to us. We would love you to assist. We'd love their contribution, and you can simply email sponsor@woodrockanimalrescue.co.za, or email me, community@woodrockanimalrescue.co.za. I've loved talking about our farm animals. I think I've had a smile on my face the whole time. You definitely have.
Yes, no.
They just make us so happy. Geordie, if you could, like, I mean, do you love what you're doing?
Yes, it's my passion. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else any other day.
I love it, guys.
Yes.
It's yarn, and that is why Geordie is who he is, and that's why we love him, and that's why he runs all the farm animals at Woodrock Animal Rescue. So, guys, thank you so much. Remember to go check out all our other socials. Give us a follow, share, and signing out from For a Love of Rescue. I'm Jax Martheze, and can't wait to see you same time, same place next week.